Okay, so Alric, I think we're ready to start.
Okay.
Sit yourself, feel like at home.
Alright.
Here are some chips.
Do I look at the camera or do I look at you? Doesn't matter.
You look at the camera, you look at me. You do whatever you want to do.
So, Chaka TV. Me and my friend Carl have been bugged here in Sofia, Bulgaria. This is definitely the, I don't know, most serious thing I guess I've experienced in my life. I've always kind of, I guess I come from a sheltered background. I've never really lived in a city besides like Odense, which is not that big a city. So, but okay. I gave the rundown earlier, like on the scene, about kind of what had happened earlier, but I hadn't really touched on this so much. Basically, after we split up with the Scottish guy Mark, who would be seen, me and Carl wanted to go grab some pizza, and I had been drinking a lot, and I was not in the best state of mind. And we arrive at the pizza place. This Bulgarian guy, I don't know, he's dressed like any other, guy who likes streetwear or whatever. He says, "Hey, have a good day," because he probably hears I'm speaking English with Carl. And then I'm like, hey, and we had been looking to buy weed with this guy Mark for like the past 2 hours, right? And, in my bad state of mind, I didn't know anything. I just asked this guy, "Hey, do you have some weed, right?" And he's like, at first he's like, "No." And then he's like, "Step outside," and we go outside with him, right? And then he starts talking about like, "Okay, I can help you out, right?" He's trying to get like, "Do you have anything on you right now?" Me and Carl were like, "No, we don't have any cash on us at the moment. But maybe like tomorrow or something, can we just get your Instagram? We'll like figure it out the next day, right?" And the thing is like during this time, I'm like oblivious, right? I don't know shit about this stuff, but Carl, he knows there's something wrong, and he's kind of telling like, "Alric, what the fuck are you doing, right? Let's go back inside," this kind of stuff, right? But he's also playing nice with this guy as well. And eventually we kind of get these guys to separate, like they kind of like leave us, and we go back in the shop. But the thing is like they're still like fucking, I don't know, 10 meters away, right? And we're like just in the shop, and they're just sitting there, it's just standing there, right? And we're feeling uncomfortable. They're kind of looking at us, right? And eventually this bold motherfucker who had kind of been like talking, he didn't really speak English at all. He just spoke Bulgarian, maybe a little Russian or something. And Carl had mentioned he speaks a little Russian, and he comes up to Carl and he starts talking to him, and I don't really know what's going on, but he's kind of getting threatening. He's trying to beckon us outside. He's like, according to Carl, after the fact, he was saying stuff like, he's asking us like, I'm like my dad's a police officer or some shit. I'll show you some, he's threatening us basically. Okay. I didn't know it though. And eventually Carl's like, "Okay, hey, I don't have any money on me. I have 5 leva or 5 lev or whatever. This is Bulgarian currency. He has 5 of them. It's really not that much money. It's like I don't know.
$2.5.
Yeah, some bullshit, right? He opens his wallet. "Look, this is what I have." He gives him the money. The guy pisses off, and when he takes the money, he leaves. Him and his whole gang just fucking buzz off, right? But fuck, man, like, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done without Carl, man. He knows what he's doing. I feel stupid. I'm kind of pissed at myself because I got him into that situation, and it's a serious situation, and I feel like I don't even understand the weight of it. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel bad about it, but it's Check TV.
Check TV, buddy.
This was like, what, an hour ago, maybe? Around that
something
time?
less.
Yeah.
I think like 40 minutes, yeah.
No, an hour. And we met up like maybe 40 minutes ago. This was like an hour ago, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Either way, that's my side of the story. You'll probably hear from Carl later. I hope so, at least, because he understood way more of what was going on than I did, even though I fucking initiated the stupid interaction.
Yes, yes. Carl doesn't wish to talk about the situation right now. Perhaps tomorrow he will.
He understands the weight of it, and I think it's hitting him a lot harder than it's hitting me, because he knows what the risks are and the danger we might have actually been, and that's why he doesn't really want to talk about it right now. But we'll see. All right, thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
Okay.
I'm here with Carl, and he's here to tell his part of the story.
Yeah, so basically today is day 3, yeah?
Yes.
Around 8 we went to an interactive museum as a group, me, Ilya, Edwards, Alaric, and after that we decided we wanted to get some beers, so while they went into Lidl, I stayed outside and I smoked a cigarette, and this guy approached me and asked me if I was selling weed, and I was like, no, I don't sell weed, and he started a conversation because he noticed I wasn't Bulgarian, and he basically just asked if we wanted to go on an adventure to go buy weed, and we were bored, we didn't have anything to do, so we decided to go with this guy. Me, Alaric, and this guy, we branched off and left Ilya and Edwards. And then, I don't know, we walked around, we decided, let's go on the tram after, or no, initially we found a box of cigarettes with this crumpled up paper inside of it that had a very strong weed smell. So we were convinced, I didn't open it because we were in the public and I didn't want to be handling it in my hands. So I just tucked it in my waistband and we walked home. We got here, we opened it, realized there was actually nothing inside of it, it just smelled really bad. So we were like, fuck, we gotta start over at square one. So we decided we'd hop on the tram and just try and find somebody, find something. Sure enough, this smart guy, he's not afraid of social anxiety, so he was asking everybody. But he was still asking a minority of people that would not be dangerous, in a sense. And we were on this tram, and there was an old guy drinking a beer, and he asked him, hey, do you have any weed? And sure enough, this guy kind of was like, I don't have any, but I can help you get some. So we're riding this tram, and we're not checking our stops, we're not seeing where we are, so we're going further and further and further and further. And like, I guess this guy ended up, all the people he called didn't have anything, so we finally got to the last stop in Sofia, and we all got off of the tram. We said goodnight to this Constantine guy who we had spoke to and conversed with. He gave us our numbers, like, if you want to smoke tomorrow, we can, yada, 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 all this. So we're in the middle of nowhere now. There's nothing, literally nothing. It's field, old abandoned houses, nothing. We look up, there's like 7 minutes left until the tram comes to go back into Sofia. So I take out a cigarette, put it in, light it, and we look, and there's a police car coming right towards us. And then the police car stops. They speak in Bulgarian, we respond in English. They're like, okay, what are you doing here? Do you have any weed on you? All this stuff. Keep in mind, we were literally just trying to get weed, so I think all of us were like, even if we were trying to act tough, we were a little shaken up, like fuck, because we don't know these police, we don't know how they're going to interact with us. So there's 3 police officers, one is talking to us, one is driving, and a third one gets out of the back seat. I see that he turns off his body camera. So when I see him do that, at least from America, you know, with police violence and all this shit, I'm thinking something might happen. They're like, I need your identification. So we give him our passports. I give him my Danish one. I didn't want to give my American because I thought, you know, a lot of people have this idea Americans are rich, they have all this stuff, they're arrogant, they're douchebags, all this stuff. So he asks to see my cigarettes. He opens them, he smells them, he inspects them. It's kind of wrapping up. He's like, okay, have a good night. They still haven't given our passports back. And Alec was like, hey, can we have the passports? He finally gave them back. After that, we were like, shit. I was already at that point kind of done. I was like, I don't really want to look for weed anymore. I don't even want it that bad. But we were determined. So we get on the tram back towards Sofia. Going up and asking random people, kind of beating around the bush, no luck. We end up at this like huge brutal structure, and I was kind of telling them like my feet is killing me. I don't really want to I don't want to keep searching. I just want to go back. So Mark tells us that his home is in one direction and we're living in another. So we kind of said goodnight for the night. He's like, we'll meet tomorrow, all this stuff. And we're like, yeah, have a good night. And I tell Alaric, like, I'm kind of hungry, man. I want to get some food, maybe some pizza. So me and Alaric are talking, yeah, let's go get some pizza, let's do this. And before this situation, I want to point out, Alaric is a very smart person. Alaric is very smart. But he is not street smart. He's lived his whole life in very rural areas, hasn't really interacted with these people before. Me growing up in big cities, like I kind of know the telltales of how to avoid someone and when not to talk to people. So we finally end up getting to this pizza place, and there's these three guys. I don't know what nationality what they were. I don't even think they were Bulgarian, maybe Turkish or something. But me and Alec were talking on the louder side, so he heard that and he was like, in very broken English, trying to say like, have a good day or all this stuff. Alec, while we're in the pizza store, kind of announces out like, do you have any, signaling with his hands? And they kind of motion us out of the store. So at this point, I was telling Alec, I was like, no, stop. But we were kind of already sucked into the whole altercation. So we step out, we talk to them. And I was just trying to tell them like, oh, maybe we'll get it tomorrow. I asked the guy for his Instagram. I wasn't gonna do anything with his Instagram. I was just gonna use it as like, we'll talk to you tomorrow and be done with the situation. One of the guys, who was a little shorter, buzzed head, tattoos on his faces and stuff. When I saw him in this group, I immediately told Albert, I was like, no, don't. There's like a demographic of people you don't talk to. And these guys are giving off the vibe that you don't talk to them, They're older, and Alaric didn't know this, and he was kind of already asking them, so it was kind of too late. And then this guy, he like kind of tries to pull us out again, and I was like, nah, man, we're okay. And then he walked into the pizza place, and he was speaking to me in Russian. I could understand a little bit, but he was asking me if I had a problem, he's going to teach me a lesson and all this stuff. And I'm just trying to calm him down. I'm like, listen, man, we don't want anything. We don't want any trouble. Just leave us alone. But he just would not leave it. And he kept threatening me. And he was trying to get us outside of the pizza place because it was not very lit. It was pretty dark outside of this pizza place. So I'm like refusing to leave the pizza place now. And he's like, open your wallet. I'm not trying to I was like, no, sorry, man. And then he started getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Until he's about this far away from my face. And his hand was in his pocket the whole time, and I don't know what he has in his pocket. And now he's starting to get more aggressive and more aggressive. So I told him, I was like, dude, I have 5 liv in my account, which is like, I don't know, 20 kronos, 30 kronos, something like that, equivalent. And then he told me, show me. And I opened my wallet, because I genuinely only had 5 liv. And I was like, if you want it, you can take it. So he took it, and then he kind of lingered around. Keep in mind, during this whole interaction, this is a group of 3 people. Me and Alaric are interacting with one of them, but I can see in the background 2 of them staring at us, kind of conversing. And I think what may have happened was because when this altercation started, I immediately knew me and Alaric are a smaller group compared to this. So I immediately called you, Ilya. I tried to get people towards us so we can seem as a bigger group and seem less approachable, And he saw that I was on my phone, and that's when he approached us initially. And he told me to hang up my phone, and I was like what? Why? And like I said, he had a very aggressive nature to him, very aggressive. I don't know this country. I don't know if there's gun violence or if there's knives. I have no clue. We've been in this country 2 days. So I just thought I would rather lose 5 lev than possibly get hurt or in trouble. So I just cooperated with them. I mean, I've had plenty of terrible experiences in the past. I know people that have died in America and stuff in interactions like these. And I didn't know the severity or the scale that people here are willing to go. So I just leaned towards the safe side and complying with them rather than being in an environment where I know what's going on. Like America, we're in a foreign country. We don't know what's going on. So I complied with them. As this whole thing's happening, I'm kind of on the side of my phone texting everyone like, guys, I sent you my location. I was like, come to me, come to us, just come. I want to be in a bigger group. They were kind of lingering, watching us. His friends were pacing towards us and pacing away from us. It was just a really strange situation, but my sense was going off. Like, these are not people I would communicate with. Alaric didn't know that, and he initiated the conversation. So now we're kind of forced into the conversation, and now we kind of have to see it through because this guy is not leaving, no matter what we say. I told him, listen, I don't have cash. We're not interested. Sorry, man. He was making up some bullshit like, I'll call my father. He's a policeman or whatever. All this stuff. He was trying to do whatever. He was being very aggressive. He would not leave us alone. So I just thought, 5 live for my safety. I will take that trade any day. Keep in mind, up until this point, we had been drinking. So I think Alaric was not as spatially as aware as he would have been if he was sober. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I handed over my 5 live. He didn't take my phone, not my wallet or anything. He lingered around a little bit after, but I just stayed in that lit area and they eventually went off. And then that's when we met with the rest of the group and we started to head home.
Yeah. This can happen to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Alaric is a very smart guy. But one thing he's not is street smart because he hasn't lived in the city. So I don't blame him. He didn't know any better. If I was in his shoes, I probably would have done the same shit. So you can see it as a learning experience rather than anything else. But it's definitely a wake-up call. I was shooken up, not because of what happened, just because I know the extent of stuff that has happened in personal experiences. I've had a gun pulled on me. I've had stuff happen in America where it's kind of make or break, and you never know what the other person's thinking, right? You never know what their next action is. So that, for me, being in a foreign country and not knowing how people act, that's something that really kind of shook me up a little bit. It's thinking what could have happened, Because Anwar too, he's a very close friend, super close, family, brother almost. And to see something happen to him, that would be the worst thing possible. So it was a much more serious situation for me. It was a wake-up call in a sense, because I know the extent that it can go. Thank God it was fucking 5 live, 30 kronas, whatever. But the situation in the whole was a stressful situation for sure.
Could have been 5 left, could have been 5 fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we definitely hit the lucky side of the exchange. I mean, thank God I only had 5 left, or he probably would have sucked me for everything I had.
Yeah.
But we scored out. It was a wake-up call, especially for Alec, I think, of how to interact with people, the demographic of people not to contact, or being able to profile a certain type of person and not talk with that person. I think it was. And throughout this whole situation, and I don't blame him, I don't think Alec fully grasped the situation of what was going on. And I don't blame him. Like I said, we've been drinking. He's never been mugged. He's never been stopped by the police. Nothing like that. So I don't blame Alaric in the slightest. It's not his fault. He didn't know how to handle the situation.
Yeah. He'll definitely learn from this.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I'm glad everyone's safe. Safety of my friends and myself is a top priority. So I'm glad we're all here now and we're safe. And this serves as a lesson of sorts. Maybe just don't smoke weed while you're in a foreign country. Maybe that's the way to start.
Do it in a careful way, at least.
Yeah, do it in a careful way, yeah. But yeah, that's the gist of what happened this evening.
Yeah, we still have one day to go.
1 day to go. We gotta pull an all-nighter, which means we gotta be outside of this apartment until 3, 4 a.m., something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it works in our favor. If it doesn't, I think at least for the majority of the later night, we should stick it to a larger group rather than these duos that we've been splitting
No,
up.
duos ain't possible.
Yeah.
No duos anymore.
Yeah. But bottom line, everyone's safe, everyone's okay, and that's the most important thing. At least
so far. I don't know what's happening right now.
That's
with
true.
the other trio, yeah.
Yeah.
We hope they're okay. If not, they will tell their part of the story in the same way.
Hopefully they're recording right now, maybe we can throw in some footage. They're probably having the time of their lives, fucking drinking fancy cocktails. But yeah, it was a shitty situation, but I want to look past it. I want to enjoy the rest of my getaway, and come home not thinking of the shitty part of the trip, but rather all the fun stuff that we got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a good way to end the story.
yeah, that's my piece. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you for coming.
Check it TV. We'll see you later. Like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Yes, so goodbye guys.